have two names actually. One is a Puluwat, of Puluwat origin, Lamaya. And Lamaya means it's a specific place in the ocean. It's a navigational landmark in the ocean. And then Fanui, which is a word that Ray came up with, meaning to demonstrate or to show in Chamorro. And that would be the name of the carving team that carved the canoe. When did we start the process?
Last year, beginning of August.
Yeah,
August 7th.
And it was completed when?
August 6th of this year. And the bottom line, I think, for us is practicing and then teaching. I guess the perpetuation of the tradition, that's really the goal, and to do that any way we can. I started in 1982, 83 with, at that time, one of the last practicing canoe builders, whose name was Segundo Blas. And around that same time period, I went to the island of Puluwat, which is in the Western Carolines, and they still really keep their canoe culture intact as far as the navigation, sailing. That's a way of life for them.
It's been a long road, and there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, but Ray's learned a lot. That's basically where it started, so we've been practicing a long time, and then Ray has been learning from myself, and then also most recently from a gentleman named Ryan M. Edward, who's a master canoe builder from Puluwat. Mm-hmm. He led the carving of this particular canoe that we built recently, that was finished on August 6th.
This guy named Labu Littler, who's from Palau, introduced us to, or he heard about our goals, what we wanted to do, and our lack of building materials. So he introduced us to Mannix Ogo from Rhoda, and he flew us over there, and we met with him, and he took us to his property and showed us, where the trees were at, and he just let us, get whatever we needed, and the wood in Rhoda is just right there, on the side of the road.
Yeah. And a lot of that wood it's already dead. It's fallen down, and there was we had a funder. The organization is called the Tourism Education Council, and they actually funded our trip over to Rhoda, and the materials were brought back free of charge by Seabridge Corporation, which is a transporter, and they do a lot of transportation of goods up to the Northern Marianas. So on the way back, they didn't have any, there's no goods to import to Guam from the Northern Marianas, so they had excess space on one of their barges, and we were able, through the help of the Tourism Education Council, to get the wood shipped back free of charge. And also Mannix, he didn't accept any money he wouldn't accept any money for the wood. He just wanted to give it to us. So basically, our project was in part sponsored by the Tourism Education Council. Ray is the only apprentice that we've had, and the other guys are all from Puluwat. A lot of the skilled carvers and our builder, and so it would be Ray and myself who are indigenous from Guam. Adzes is the primary tool, and that if you're skilled with that tool, then you can produce a lot of very subtle and specific lines that make the canoe perform well when you're under sail. But we used modern tools as well, just to speed the process along, because that helps in the bulk removal of a lot of wood that you don't need, and you can do things more quickly. So we're not completely traditional.
The size of the canoe can vary depending on the materials available, and you can get a really big piece of wood, and not all of the wood is usable. And the builders will usually have all of that in their head. Once they see the piece of wood, they get the size of the keel, measure the keel, the wood that's good for the keel, and then there's formulas, but it's all in their head. It's passed down from thousands of years canoe building.
And you have to formulate your plan on building the canoe according to your materials available. And traditionally, the canoes are composites, so you have a single keel but separate bow pieces. And like Ray said, all of that is in the builder's head. And so he conforms to the materials rather than the other way around, because you can't always, and it was a good point he made, you can't always find the materials that are going to be ideal. The size of our canoe, which is 22 feet, is actually not used for open ocean sailing. I mean, long distances. But our immediate plan is to, when the conditions are right, to sail it up to Rhoda. We would like to do that. We have to wait for the right conditions. And we really want to take it there so that Manixovo and the family that gave us the wood can see it, because we said if we can, and it's possible, we'll bring the canoe back so you can see what we did. It's still a learning process, even for me. I've done a lot of sailing, but especially when we sail with the guys from Pulawatt, I'm even learning certain techniques that I either forgot or never experienced formally. So for Ray and I, we're still students and learning. But we've learned a lot together. Even during this project, I was telling Ray, I said, I don't call myself a master builder, know certain things, but I'm still learning. Us is really the perpetuation of everything. And, when all is said and done, we're really only going to know if we're successful if somebody else knows, like Ray, or maybe his son, if they can get a group of people together and are skilled enough to put something together themselves and also pass down those skills. So that part of the mission and the reconstruction really remains to be seen.